The richest people don't post their wins, they don't flex. And most people would never guess how they build wealth. We have been conditioned to think that wealth is a neon sign, a loud car, or a designer logo. But the truth is much quieter. This video is not about yachts, luxury watches, or the toxic side of hustle culture. It is about the boring, invisible behaviors that actually move the needle for long-term financial success. By the time someone is showing off their success, the real work of building it was finished years ago in total silence. Most people miss the signals because they are looking for the flash. But if you want to change your financial trajectory, you have to look at the shadows. The final habit we will discuss today is the one almost nobody notices, and it is the primary reason why wealth compounds silently while others stay stuck in the noise. Before we dive in, let's be clear about one thing. This is not an attack on anyone's current financial situation. I have spent years observing the patterns of wealthy families, successful business owners, and long-term investors. What I found is that the gap between the rich and the poor isn't usually about intelligence or luck. It is about conditioning and specific wealth-building habits. Some people are conditioned to consume, while others are conditioned to build. This isn't about being born with a silver spoon. It is about adopting the psychological framework that allows wealth to grow without being strangled by the need for external validation. You don't need a high IQ to get rich, but you do need a high level of discipline. We are going to explore these behaviors as a roadmap, not a judgment, so you can see where your own habits might be holding you back. The core concept we need to understand is the difference between quiet wealth and loud consumption. Wealth is what you don't see. It is the money not spent, the car not upgraded, and the assets that sit quietly in a brokerage account. Poverty patterns, however, are often very public and highly emotional. When people feel a lack of security, they often use visible spending to prove their worth to the world. They use loud objects to mask a quiet bank account. The wealthy do the exact opposite. They are comfortable being invisible. These habits often look boring, slow, and entirely unimpressive to the outside observer. But that is exactly why they work. If your life looks exciting to everyone else, you're likely spending your way toward a crisis. If your life looks stable and perhaps a bit repetitive, you're likely on the path to true financial freedom. Now let's look behind the curtain at the 10 quiet things the rich do differently. Habit number 1 is that they delay visibility. Rich people do not announce their plans to the world. They operate in stealth mode. While most people are desperate for a congratulations on a business plan they haven't even started, the truly wealthy wait until the results already exist before they speak. They understand that oversharing goals provides a fake sense of achievement. When you tell everyone your big ideas, your brain receives a dopamine hit as if you have already succeeded. This kills your drive. The wealthy stay hungry by staying quiet. They don't need the social validation of the grind because they are focused on the outcome. They avoid the trap of performative work. This behavior connects deeply to habit number 7, which acts as a massive multiplier for this specific stealthy mindset. Habit number 2 is an obsession with cash flow over income. Most people think that a high salary makes you rich. It doesn't. Income is just a number. Wealth is what stays after everything is paid. The rich focus on how much their assets produce, not just how much their boss pays them. They have quiet tracking habits, often reviewing their spreadsheets with the same intensity a gamer reviews their stats. They aren't looking at how much they can spend. They are looking at how much their money can earn while they sleep. These smart money moves are what separate a high earner from a truly wealthy person. Someone earning $200,000 a year who spends it all is actually poorer than someone earning $60,000 who keeps 20. This focus on flow over vanity income connects directly to habit number 9. Habit number 3 is that they read boring information. While most people are consuming high-energy motivational content or scrolling through social media, the wealthy are reading contracts, annual reports, insurance policies, and boring nonfiction books. They understand that the boring stuff contains the leverage. If you understand the fine print of a tax code or the specific terms of a real estate contract, you have a massive advantage over the person who just wants the vibe of being successful. Information is only power if it is specific and actionable. They avoid the overload of inspirational content that provides no real utility. They embrace the boredom of learning how systems actually work. This patience for dull details is what allows them to spot opportunities that others miss because they were too busy looking for something exciting. Habit number 4, they intentionally avoid lifestyle inflation. This is the most noticeable but toughest to maintain difference. Average people buy a nicer automobile or bigger house after getting a rise. They live bigger to match their increased income. Rich people do otherwise. They purposely underspend for decades. A 5-year-old Toyota may be driven despite 7 figures in the bank. Emotional discipline over prestige, not cheapness. They know that every dollar spent on a depreciating asset cannot be invested. They value security over importance. They pick freedom over furniture. By cutting costs, they attain their goals faster. Their 5th habit is paying for time, not status. Most people spend hours saving $10. A rich person will spend $10 to save an hour. They aggressively outsource cleaning, administrative, and basic maintenance to focus on high-value duties. They reject practically everything beyond their mission. They guard their calendar most. The rich want to buy back their time, while the poor trade their time for money. They know time is the sole non-renewable resource. Habit number 10 explains their concept for determining what's worth paying for. 6th habit, less emotional decision-making. Most people become upset about money, selling or buying impulsively. Rich people allow cooling off. They wait 24 hours or 30 days to buy something important. They separate ego and bank account. If an investment fails, they cut losses without feeling bad. They don't shop after a windfall. They remain calm. They view money as a tool, not a status symbol. They rise steadily by eliminating emotional expenditure fluctuations. They don't let unpleasant days cost them. Their 7th habit is keeping quiet about wins. Silence preserves momentum. When you win large and announce it, naysayers, beggars, and unwarranted societal pressure follow. Rich people keep their victories quiet to prevent the tall poppy syndrome, where people try to bring down the successful. Setting low public expectations permits them to maneuver freely. They don't need to appear at the top, so they may fail and pivot without shame. Habit number 1 applies here. Nobody can distract you from the next goal if nobody knows you won. Stealth wealth is the ultimate power move since it offers success without social issues. 8th habit, thinking decades, not weeks. Due to necessity or habit, poverty typically involves short-term thinking. Most people desire to get rich next month. Wealthy people are planning for 20 years. They want boring consistency. They know compounding takes time to appear magical. The rich persevere after 6 months of failure because their horizon is much further away. Impatience is one of the most costly characteristics. Extending your schedule reduces stress and boosts success. They will appear unsuccessful for 5 years to be undeniable for 50. Habit 9. They develop systems, not willpower. They don't need motivated savings or investing. They automate everything. They have systems that deduct investment contributions before pay. They build default behaviors that make success easy. If you must choose discipline daily, you will fail. You can't fail if your system chooses. Removes decision fatigue. They create their surroundings for wealth creation. They structure their human nature rather than fighting it. This relates to their concentration on cash flow as the system ensures continuous flow. Habit 10. They safeguard their identities first. The philosophy is central. They build and manage capital, not just do riches, not consumers. Labels like "I'm just not good with money" or "people like us don't get ahead" imprison poor patterns. Privately, the rich redefine themselves. They see themselves as long-term strategists. Identity produces habits, which create results. Saving, investing, and learning are natural for builders. This is aha moment. Wealth is how you see your place in the world, not a bank account number. They know who they are, thus no proof is needed. Wealth is quiet, not flashy. It doesn't need your permission, rush, or follow the crowd. Though boring, these actions are the foundation of success. Though congested and exhausting, the peaceful way yields the most progress. These habits can be adopted now by anyone, regardless of income. Being inconspicuous while building is the first step. Real wealth's quietness speaks the loudest. Which habit surprised you most? Consider how you might reduce noise in your daily activity. Watch this following video to learn why most individuals stay in the middle class, and let's create.